I'd stop and turn back and shake his hand. Name's Arthur.
The list of ingredients is in that hand. Would be an awkward shake.
I'll go ahead and take the notes as I shake your hand.
She's looking for musicians to court her, if you will.
What?
I look at him very weirdly, saying, are we talking about her or her stuff? It's kind of like...
I'm thinking it's her. She gave that vibe when I talked to her.
What? I need to read the emotes between Arthur and Therazar. What are you guys doing?
There's always being a dick.
How's it
Hold
being a dick? I sent my bear over to say hi.
Oh, I thought Therazar rubbed up against his side. I'm like, what? What?
So a 6'2" half orc just went on his hands and knees.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes, we're just having a fucking furry convention out here in the middle of the town square.
Didn't he save me or something?
That's probably true. In fact, everyone here recognizes someone else. I just need to tell you what it is. Hold on, where did it go?
And am I slightly drunk or really drunk?
You are really drunk.
Can I now just go hug my favorite bear then?
Just like a disclaimer for everyone, pretty much anytime all 5 of us are in this chat channel and about to play, I will be recording stuff which I may or may not use. Just
So if I
you're
say
aware.
bad things like Hitler did nothing wrong.
I'll probably cut it out, but you're aware of what I might use.
Pussy.
Okay.
I only put things in my videos that support my narrative.
What's that, Killer Keemstar? How you doing?
Shut up, GigX.
Oh wait, since I hop back in and out, I should probably fix my... Oh, I'm Arthur Hollow regardless.
But wait.
But the picture's different.
That's horrible. So you all are in basically the same region that you've been in for the majority of your life. At least in the sense that you haven't... This might not be true for Therazar. But like the region that you're in is basically an environment where there's a few cities. There's like a port. There's inlands. There's farms. There's probably some garrisons from the local. I want to say ruler, for lack of a better word. Like outposts and stuff. And this is actually on where you guys actually are is on the fringes of that environment. Kind of right near the edge of what is widely understood just through conversation and behavior and like what people say about the region. Like stuff out to I think it's the north of this area that you're in.
What ruler will there be for this area? Is it a liege lord, king? What are we talking about?
I don't know. Probably a lord.
I got highlighted traits, so I guess I'm not from here.
Will we be getting any sort of a journal map or anything like that?
No.
Or are we just going to go off of based on... Okay.
Yeah. But there's most of you, maybe not Therazar, just based on who he is, would be aware that there is a small town in this region that's right by a mountain called Droskar's Crag. That's the mountain. The town's called Falcon's Hollow, or Hollow, excuse me. And you can get to this with a ferry that goes up and down a river. primarily just down. This is kind of like at the end of a river because it gets really mountainous the further you go up from here. There's also a large forest in this area known as the Dark Moon Vale, which has nothing to do with World of Warcraft.
Sounded like it would have.
I know. But for one reason or another, and I've got some ideas as to why you are here, but I suspect that Therazar is just wandering, maybe even wandering in from the waste, not wastes, but the unknown areas. That's up to you. I imagined that George Cocker is coming in on a ferry, along with probably Cirrus. But that's, again, up to you guys. But you are in this small town of Falcon's Hollow. And whether or not you're in it, like the physical thing, depends on where you want to be. But you're in this region, very, very close to Falcon's Hollow.
Can I make a request?
What's the request?
Could you? I know you don't like doing this kind of thing, and I know why. But could you draw out the map at some point, just in Microsoft Paint, even? I
can even do it right now, just to explain exactly what I'm describing.
Yeah, just so I can visualize relative distances.
I'm 100% fully on board with drawing what I'm talking about, but it's going to be like stick figures and shit. So
that is exactly what I'm looking for.
Just giving a general feel for what I'm talking about, no problem at all. Okay, so I'm going to move you guys to this. And this is a mountain. That is the crag. It has a Droskar, but I don't want to handwrite Droskar. There's a river that flows just to the south of it, right along it. It goes this way. There is a forest here. And this river is actually fairly large. As I said, it has ferries, right? And Falcon's Hollow. I don't know why I thought it was Falcon's Reach. I think that's from another campaign I played in. It had a similar name. Is basically right there. And there's a bridge here. It's actually a ferry that crosses it. And then there are also ferries that go downstream. And the surrounding area has people in it in general. But it's basically a small town that's right here on the shore of this river, which is known as the River Foam.
What was this again?
What was what again?
What was this?
That's a forest.
Gotcha.
Hold on. I got a thing for you. And that's the Dark Moon Vale. So does anyone have any want to chime in as to why they're here, or do they not have a preference?
I figured you had all that stuff.
What I mean is, necessarily you came here, and I'm talking about why you left where you were previously. And if it's not important to you, don't worry.
I heard that there was good game to hunt in the Darkwood Vale.
That's actually, Vlad, roll a... Fuck.
I don't think that's the type of die.
Do you not want me to say fuck?
No, you're good.
Yeah, I've ruined too many of his PUBG videos with that already.
So you're actually well aware that there's a type of fox in this region that is only native to this area. So it makes a lot of sense that you would come to this place to
anything special about this
hunt and trap those. Nothing particularly special about them, except for the fact that it's they have a pelt that isn't the patterns on their pelt is not something found in anywhere else really.
Prized furs, got it.
Mm-hmm. Some people might like them because of the design. They're a little bit more coveted because of that. But those of you who have entered the town for anything, and I guess I would ask the two people who are kind of towards towns, if you've spent any time in the town.
I think it makes most sense for Therazar to have just kind of been wandering through the area.
Yeah, that's what I felt about Therazar.
Just happened to be there at this particular time.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's worth mentioning something. Since you've been wandering through the area, your let me. So, you found a supply of water while you were here, and your bear is not feeling too well after drinking from that. And I need you to roll a fortitude test.
For the bear?
I rolled for him because if he didn't get sick, I wasn't gonna.
Oh,
save
okay.
him. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have affected you, but he's making some strange sounds, and he, just with your empathic link with him, he's clearly distraught. At least uncomfortable. And anyone, this goes for probably George and Cyrus. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
The both of you should roll a fortitude save as well. In fact, if you've been in this area trapping Arthur, you should as well.
I will memorize where these things are on my sheet eventually.
Okay. So while you've spent your time in this area and region, it's become very apparent for anyone who's been in the town that a great number of people are falling ill. And some of you are starting to notice that you're not feeling too great either. That would include Cyrus, Arthur, and George. Orcs are just, not orcs. You're a half orc. Sorry.
Not a pushover.
And a lot of people are really concerned because no one at the local temple seemed to be able to do anything about it, at least not with any divine intervention. There's a healer who seems to be working on something. And this particular day, at least the three of you who aren't Therazar are in the town when someone comes in, not screaming like a maniac, but kind of just letting everyone know that it's one of the local watering holes that people get their water from that has apparently a mold in it. And anyone who's been drinking from it has a chance of getting sick. And people start coughing up blood from the sickness and are not doing very well. There's a strong motivation to there was a strong motivation from the town to figure out exactly where it was coming from, because people just continued to fall sick. And it seems that they had found that. And some guy comes into a square where, probably the only square, where George Cocker, Arthur Hollow, and Cyrus are. Unless Arthur Hollow wouldn't be in the town. I'm curious, though, what Therazar would intend to do about his bear being sick.
1 second. I want to test something. I'm trying to figure out the command to whisper to the GM.
I think it's /W. Oh, I used to do it all the time.
There we go. It is /W space GM space your text.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Okay, I that doesn't come into effect now, just for future reference.
Oh, so you weren't trying to whisper me?
No, I was trying to test it.
So it's worth mentioning that this right here is a link to text chat commands, I think, for you to be able to...
It is.
Do things. The local sheriff, has been pretty widely involved in orchestrating the search to determine where the sickness was coming from. And he's actually, if he wasn't there already, he presents himself and starts speaking with the man who basically came in and was a town crier who didn't get destroyed by magisters. Making sure people were aware not to use that watering hole anymore. needs to be stopped being drank from because that's what's making people sick. They don't know why or what they're going to do about it. There are other sources of water, but it's one of the more convenient ones for people out to the north and the northeast of the town. Considering, are you guys still on that page? Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
This direction, that direction's north. So I'm curious as to how you all are reacting or responding to this, the news that the person brought in, the fact that you're not feeling well. Like, what would you do to try and solve that? Are you guys laying in bed? Are you trying to leave the city? Are you like? I'm curious as to what people are doing.
I would go see the doctor or whoever, the healer. Just ask him if I'm good enough to travel somewhere else.
What did you say, Metallic? Or George Cocker?
I'm just gonna go to whoever most nearby doctor is, and hopefully they can at least treat the symptoms.
So just simply asking around, and you probably don't even need to ask around. You can probably hear people talking about it, or her rather, how the local cleric and the word is escaping me. What?
Priest?
Well, no, priest would substitute cleric if it were that. Oh, her name's Laurel. I think she is a priest though. I'm pretty, yeah. But she works with the temple with the clerics there if she's not. She's been working on something, but a lot of people have seemed to talk with either an upturned nose or like with a scowl, talking about how she's trying to do something. She's trying to do something about this, but she's so incompetent, or like people don't seem to have a fond opinion of her. And so anyone who was going there would see that the temple is basically laden with the ill. And we're talking, maybe 20, 30 people. There are some people who are much worse off than others, specifically like the very young and the very old. They're actually inside the temple and have been like organized into small beds, but they're basically just laying on the floor. There doesn't seem to be any like beds that have been pulled out or anything.
Okay.
I suppose.
Question here. So, does my character know all of the level 0 spells for being a druid?
Yes.
Okay. Because then I know what I would do. In regards
go ahead.
to
I'm
my
actually
situation.
looking for something right now.
Arthur Hollow would perform the heal skill on himself. I don't know if I would define this as poison or disease.
It would count as a disease. And I need to check something.
So is this like Montezuma's Revenge level stuff?
I think it's worse than that, actually. Yeah, go ahead and roll a heal. Now, keep in mind the heal skill is not to
We're not talking about lay on hands here. It's just
yeah.
That one specifically
it's more like
poison.
first aid. It's more like first aid.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm treating it as, but
more like a clear debuffs.
Not clear, identify actually.
Okay.
Because once you like heal might be able to do something about it. Like if it's just like a really bad wound.
Yeah, you can treat disease, you can treat poison, there's long-term care, first aid, treat deadly wounds. You can identify drugs and pharmaceuticals.
Got it. Sky, the reason I'm whispering you that is because I'm not with that group, so.
Yep. We'll probably rectify that. Actually,
I'm a fan of keeping things compartmentalized if groups aren't together, so.
Yeah. And that's fine. So, for those of you who said that did anyone say they weren't going? Oh, Arthur, where are you?
It kind of depends on the heal, because if I started to feel bad, I would try to heal myself, and then depending on the result of that is where I would go next. Because
so you're not really sure what's wrong with you. Like, you've coughed up blood before, but it's usually because of overexertion or because you were injured from like a blow of some kind. But you've never coughed up blood like this before, where you were just walking along essentially and had a cough fit and checked your hand and had blood.
So if I can't heal it myself, I would go
Gotcha.
in. Okay.
Go ahead, Vlad. I was trying to figure out how to whisper.
Yeah, if I can't heal it to myself, then I would obviously go into town and seek out a doctor or a priestess.
Okay. So it sounds like the three of you, except Therazar, will find yourself at the temple, where a woman named Laurel, along with some other clerics, priests of the temple, are working with the ill. Now, you know just from life that there are clerics out there who can just heal diseases. But considering how many ill people there are here, you can't imagine that that's an option, or like maybe the people here just don't know how to do that, or they haven't gained that favor with their god. But yeah, you would. But at the same time, it is still a large amount of sick people, so they might be healing people, but there's only a few people who can do it. But suffice to say, there's a large number of individuals here who are ill and laid up. Some of them are just laying outside the temple, hoping to get in when an opening's there. Some people actually help. They don't look necessarily like they're enfeebled, but they're there and they have like a look of fear, not fear, but deep overshadowed concern. But they're just sitting around like waiting to be seen. Hold on. And it's worth mentioning that people are calling this black scour, because there's a mixture of like black shit that comes up with the blood. And this woman Laurel is rushing around, and you can see that she's clearly the person in charge. And you guys wanted to approach her. Can you guys roll initiative test for me? So Therazar, not Therazar, Cyrus, you are approaching her, and you notice that she's actually like seen to some people, and actually like she has a satchel bag that she's carrying things in, and she's checking with people. But she checks her bag and suddenly starts heading out of the temple and leaving to a different part of the city. And I assume that you're going to follow her because you've heard this person talked about, or are you looking for someone else in the temple?
I'm gonna look just. You said there are other priests and healers?
Yeah, there are other priests here and healers here, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just grab anybody that answering.
Okay, so if you find someone who's available, you may have to wait for some time. And this is true for the rest of you as well. But you do overhear, while waiting to be seen, that some people are commenting about how they can't believe that she just left like that and that she's out of her mind. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She thinks she just wants the fame and glory. People are complaining about Laurel, who people were talking to and about. And you know her name's Laurel because she was called and like even jeered after her, because people are upset with her for some reason. But yeah, you end up getting seen, and the cleric that's there ends up essentially giving you some herbs and basically advising your behavior. Seeing as you're a pretty able-bodied, healthy person, she's found this individual that you're talking to has found that it seems to only be seriously dangerous to people who are either really old or really young, and that correlates with the people that you're seeing who are literally laid up and like enfeebled. So they just advise that you take it easy, take the herbs that she gives you, and
does she sell any good water, like purified water, the water that they know it's not gonna be poison or whatever. Molded.
Unfortunately, they haven't found a water supply that they can consistently get. The river is not the most ideal place, so if they have to start taking water from that, it'll have to be boiled and or blessed before it can be consumed. However, she does say that she can just summon water or create water for the people here, which is what you probably see her doing that. So she's not selling it, but she'll offer anything to it.
So I can just grab some water in. What would that be? Not a bottle, whatever medieval equivalent of a bottle is.
Unless you have something to keep it in, you'd probably have to use things that belong to the what would you call it? Fuck. That belong to the temple. I'm responding to a whisper.
I have some food rations. Wouldn't that come with a water? What's that called?
What was that? What?
I have some food rations in my inventory. Wouldn't that come with
water?
No.
No.
What if I had a filled water skin?
My expectation, if you have filled it here, there's a good chance that it could be dangerous. If you filled it in the specific location, then, which you may or may not be aware of the location of, you probably aren't, then it would absolutely be.
So if I filled it in the last town back, I'd be fine?
Yes.
Good stuff.
At least that's what people seem to be talking about. They're pretty confident that what they found is actually in that place, or in that water source that they were talking about. So the woman here is actually named Lady Kurthana. And she's very, very, very intent in... she may be one of the ones that sees you. There are a couple others here. But she's the one who's in charge, and she's very intent on making sure that people are healed from this illness. But she lacks the ability to cure disease. She hasn't gained that favor with her god. Hold on, I need to respond to this person. I thought I pushed enter.
Whisper Wars.
It looks like it.
Well, one of us isn't even here.
Wait, who's not here?
I'm not here.
Therazar, he doesn't go inside cities. Did you ask me something else?
No, not since my statement.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you would make it there in reasonable time, and there's no reason to assume that this didn't happen earlier and you're actually getting into town. I missed that whisper.
Okay.
If you guys whisper me something and I don't whisper you back or acknowledge it vocally without being direct, please let me know that you whispered me, because I will miss them. Because they look like a lot of other things that I get as well, or do, whatever. I think.
No, I wasn't saying that to prompt you to get me there. I was just saying, whisper.
No, I think that's reasonable. Yeah, you can absolutely. I do have a question though. Are you letting your bear rest somewhere, or is he coming in?
Into.
Really?
So following.
Okay. He's not too impeded. He's just physically distressed, right?
My character's encumbered anyway, so there won't be much of a difference.
Can he? He can't carry anything for you, can he?
He isn't currently.
So actually, from whoever ends up speaking with Lady Kirthana, she's kind of in a tizzy. She's either incredibly uncomfortable and concerned that she isn't up to the task, or she just really, really cares and wants to solve the situation. And she goes into a little bit more detail just offhandedly. She's almost doing it because she is kind of trying to bleed stress by talking. But that woman who you keep hearing about, named Laurel, is actually a local herbalist who was here trying something, and she actually is the reason she left. Like, she's like, I kicked her out. I can't believe she came here. Apparently, she sells things like aphrodisiacs and snake oil, stuff that doesn't even really work. So she's not very popular in town, at least not to people who were dissatisfied with her products. But like, she definitely mentions that Laurel thinks that she can cure this, and that, like, how could she possibly know anything like that, seeing as all she sells are those types of products out of her herbalist shop on the other side of town. And of course, she doesn't make very much, is what a lot of people scoff at, because people are wising up to her shenanigans, so to speak.
Am I able to ask anyone else that's there where her shop is?
It might take some badgering, because people don't really want to care about that right now. But it wouldn't be hard for you to figure out where that is. Also, yeah, that answers the question, I'm pretty sure. Were you satisfied with the response, Arthur?
Yes.
Okay. So, is anyone do something?
I want to ask a bunch of people until I find out where her shop is.
Oh, you have. I'm saying that you can head there if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna head there.
Okay.
I'm going to go with him.
You hear him asking and go. That makes sense.
Yes.
I'm reading something. Yeah, there's a lot of people definitely talking about how this woman seems to think that she has the key to solving this problem. But no one seems to give her any clout because of her history in the town. So do you have something in your bags, Cirrus, to store the created water that the cleric gave you?
No, but I came with a genius idea that since water doesn't work, I'm gonna go to the tavern and just drink beer.
Okay.
Alcohol should kill everything in it, right? Or something stronger if they have it.
Alcohol should kill. That's potentially reasonable.
But it's
Well, if it's caused by
I'm gonna get drunk.
if it's
Either
caused
way,
by
I win.
germs, yes. If it's caused by a curse, that could be different.
Either way, I win. Gonna get drunk. Going to tavern.
Okay. Okay. So, Therazar, I'm completely comfortable with you having been there for everything that's been described because of what you decided to do. So, what are you doing right now?
I hadn't been listening to it through that lens, so I don't think it's reasonable.
Okay, so you
I
end
hadn't
up...
made it there. Assume I had just walked into town, I guess.
Okay. Then... Okay, so have you been ignoring... Like, have you been purposely excluding your listening skills from what I've been saying so that you weren't... What's going on?
I haven't been focusing on it. I've been thinking about what I have been doing.
I assume that you're aware... Okay, when Therazar enters the town, and you said his bear is following him, right?
Correct.
So, there are some human guards, and I say human because most of the people here are human. Anyone who's been anywhere near the town, including Therazar, who just approached, can easily see numerous humans and very few of anyone else, any other kinds of races. Although they are here, there's the occasional halfling gnome and not. Actually, there's at least one halfling. But you don't seem to get stopped because the town is in quite a tizzy. And you are used to having to basically argue and debate with some guards when you do have to go into town because you're bringing a bear into town. But no one, it seems, to be paying attention. If there were guards or if there are not, they're not looking at you or caring. So you end up entering the town just fine. And the there are people who are, you can hear loudly speaking about where some taint had recently come. That was this local drinking.
Okay.
And I want to say you're hearing pretty much everything insane, but I don't know what I need to repeat because you didn't hear it.
I heard
Like
most of it.
you're aware that there's some herbalist that people are really upset about who you've picked up on the name of, and that the temple is doing the best it can, but it seems that the prayers are going unanswered and aren't, like, no one seems to be getting better. In fact, some people are getting worse, but there's a lot of people laid up at the temple.
Okay, if I remember correctly, everyone but George or Cyrus is still at the temple. Because I was gonna say,
Well, from where I'm looking at it, because we haven't moved on, they're all still out the temple, literally about to leave to where they're going.
okay, what? I walk up to somebody and ask them where their local cleric or place of magic is. Looking for directions.
So you flag someone down, and the person who you end up flagging down seems really eager to help you. Doesn't really make a point of calling out the fact that you're a half-orc or that you have a bear. In fact, they seem very pleased to let you know that you go this way, that way, and there's you said the temple, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go this way, that way, and that'll take you to the temple. And they might make some offhanded comment, like, even orc stamina can get ill, like, implying that they think you're ill and that's why you're going there. But yeah, you're able to get that information pretty.
Okay, I thank him for his answer and start moving.
Okay. So let's do Cyrus going to the local tavern. Oopsie. Are you going to open up a tab at this tavern? Like, you're pretty capable of finding a place that sells alcohol, has places to sleep, and is a general place of revelry. However, it's not too up right now. The attitude is pretty muted. There are a lot of people in here drinking. They are talking about their family members and their concern, and there are even some people who are thinking the same thing as you here, trying to drink the whatever it is out of them. Some people are just drinking because of the situation, but I assume that you'd like to, like, what are you going to do now that you're at the tavern? I said George, I meant Cyrus.
I'm gonna go to the bartender of the owner or whatever and say that, well, this is a really crappy atmosphere. I know what's gonna help it. Just pick up the loot and start playing. Try to make some money.
So are you hold on, I need to check something on your character sheet. Are you intending to use some of your bardic, one kind of your bardic performance? Like, are you trying to inspire courage, fascinate, distract, counter song, or whatever else is available? Performer, or are you just trying to, like, play?
Sure, I can inspire courage. Sure, let's do that.
Okay, now that does count as one of your performances per day, so make sure you know that. But
Wait, are you guys actually playing right now?
yes, we are.
Okay, bye.
You should put a do not disturb on the top. Well,
Yeah,
I guess there's D&D, so do not disturb.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. I'm just seeing if you have to roll. I'm pretty sure you don't have to roll. I'm pretty sure you can just do it. But when it comes to inspiring courage, you're considering everyone in here courage. What are you singing about? And you say you're doing a lute. I'm curious as to what kind of song. Like, is it up, or is it more calm and soothing, or are you trying to actually inspire courage and it's like a pep talk? or a pep rally or whatever. Not a pep rally that we had from high school because those were ridiculous. But I'm curious as to what kind of performance you're giving.
Basically, tomorrow's gonna be a better day, whatever that would be.
So that'd be
Okay.
inspiring.
You're just in generally trying to lift their spirits and give them hope.
Yeah, basically, to make money, though. It's
Yeah,
like
we
to
can
make
even
them,
consider
yeah, to make them more. It's like happy, and happy drinkers are more likely to give money. So, yeah.
Okay, I need to make some notes.
What?
What?
Lots of growing.
Wait, what did you say?
You just rolled 17 d20.
How did you know it was 17?
Because it says
That's what
17
it
d20.
says.
Oh, it does. Yeah, I did.
You can do GM rolls, you know that, right?
I don't like hiding rolls.
Some rolls should
That
be
doesn't mean
hidden.
I'll tell you what a roll is, but I want you to see the die. For a number of reasons.
Can respect that.
I hate that. Just gotta be the polar opposite here.
So, there's about 24 people in here. And you get about a fourth of them to actually move and come over and listen to you. You can see that smiles do brighten on their face, and some of them even toss you a 5 gold pieces. And many of them buy drinks, which makes the bartender smile at you and whisper the next time you go over for a drink that your drinks are on the house.
Perfect.
And I'm going to leave you to that because I assume that that's going to take you some time and that you're not using all your bardic performances. You were just doing that
No,
one to try and
just one.
inspire. Yeah, I'm assuming. So tell me otherwise. But you said no.
Yeah.
Moving on. Let's go to Arthur and George. Now I'm curious. I think it's very reasonable that in the crowded temple with the woman who's in charge, someone asking her where this Laurel shop is, that you would have seen and overheard that. But I'm curious, Arthur, when you say you're going with George, do you approach George and say, "Hey, I'd like to go and see this person too. Why don't we go together?" Or are you just going in that same direction?
Basically, calmly shadow him like a
Are you trying not to be seen?
following their mom. No, he can see me. I'm just coming with him.
Cool. So, George, you start heading to this woman's place, and it's actually basically on the outskirts of town. You see that her shop is not in a good condition. It was kind of it's a mixture between a home, like a small shack that has like an interior, and a little stall on the outside of it as well. And it's pretty small. Like we're talking maybe 20 feet by 15 feet, and that's including the outdoor stall. Just to give you an idea of how small this is. There are a lot of people here, like yelling and like screaming at her. And there's a line because apparently some people in this town believe that what she's selling is good, and so she's trying to get them different kind of remedies and whatnot. What are you guys doing? And like you see this as well. You're
Is
there.
Therazar there yet?
So you probably get to the temple as they leave, as all three of them leave.
Do I walk past them?
Yeah, you probably would.
Do I recognize...
And there's one of them you might recognize.
Yeah, do I recognize him?
You tell me. He saved you. No, wait.
Well, how crowded is it?
He saved me.
Hold on. I have it written down.
Okay.
It's pretty crowded, but it's not crowded in a sense of people standing. It's crowded with people like laid up on the steps and whatnot.
Okay. So somebody walking would be noticeable pretty easily.
Seems like that for the most part.
Oh, yeah. So there is a woodsman that you barely even remember seeing him. Like the only reason you remember is because you're concerned about your bear right now, who is still following you, and it's actually starting to make some people uncomfortable. But one of the people who comes out and starts heading in a direction outside of the temple is a guy who once vouched for your bear when guards weren't really listening to you, that your bear is tame and fine.
Okay, I start walking towards him, thinking he might have more information on the subject.
Okay.
I don't like try and flag him down. I just start walking towards
So
him.
that means that the three of you would see the state of Laurel's shop as people are crowded around it, and it's kind of in disrepair, and like stuff has been knocked over, and it's also, you know what I'm talking about, what I described there. The three of you, except for Cirrus, who's playing at the local tavern, is in that state, and I'm wondering what the three of you are. And I think Vlad started to say, and someone started to talk, and Therazar interrupted.
I would start to ask around and see if anybody knows where Laurel is.
You can see her. She's behind her counter, and she looks a little frazzled. But she's administering, like she's selling. I don't want to call them potions. It's more like tonics to people who are in line, and then there are other people are coming to complain, and she's trying to basically sort it all.
Is she trying to listen to the people who are complaining, or is she trying to shut
like
them
she
off?
seems to be trying really hard to address everyone's concerns, but she's having a hard time of it.
I'll get in line.
Okay. What are you doing, George?
I decide that I'm gonna walk in, and I don't know what I should roll. I'm thinking it's gonna be bluff. I want to try to convince everyone that her tonics have healed my cousin.
That would probably be bluff.
So I'll
Sounds
roll
like the
that.
definition of bluff.
Ho!
God damn. Fucking smooth talker over here.
Yeah.
Shit, did I believe him?
Yeah, well, that's up to you guys. That's another thing that we should probably talk. Player characters do not roll against player characters.
I don't know. I feel like the characters in the area should have to roll some kind of check against that.
No, you decide whether or not you believe them or not.
Are we
Because you're
required
playing
to
your character.
announce that?
The game isn't playing your character for you, is my only response to that.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know him well enough to know if he's lying or not, so I believe him.
Okay. And George, you're actually able to get some of the people to kind of stumble on their tongues and like shut up. I don't know if you're eloquent or if like you're doing it with teary-eyed. What are you doing?
I'm gonna do it with a happy, like teary-eyed, like crying of joy.
Yeah, and so like, and then some of the people who were complaining leave, and some of them get in line.
And I then also get in line.
And she is eyeing you.
Define eyeing.
And when I say you, I mean George.
I figured that.
When you did that, she kind of like squinted at you and like ruffled her nose. What's the term? Scowled. As you were relaying your tale of your poor cousin. What's his name?
The cousin, let's say Giorgio.
Your poor cousin Giorgio.
Man, that was quick. What was your inspiration?
My last character.
Isn't your character's name George?
I mean, Giorgio is a different name.
But yeah, you go on and say, "Oh, her tonics cured my cousin's ailment of black scour. It's wonderful. You guys don't know what you're talking about," or whatever it is you say, right? And then did you say you get in line after that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Arthur is ahead of you. George is ahead of you. Therazar, what are you doing?
I roll my eyes at that and walk directly to the front of the line to speak with her.